We got some exciting announcements today, also about other support mechanisms we've put in place for you. So very, very excited for this today. I want to welcome to the call our president and my partner, Nick Sarnicola, somebody that I've really come to love and respect, as well as I have other members of the team. And he is out busy on a full day, out working with key vendors, also key e-learning vendors, and out there working with key leaders where he is. So, Nick, I know you've only got a short time with us today before you have to push off into another Zoom that you've got or another meeting. So I want to pass the baton fully over to you for a minute and let you do some welcoming discussions. And I'll be prepped with a couple of looms and some videos to go through on my end.
Sure. Well, first of all, apologize in advance for any background noise. I'm outside the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. I'm here at the Aspire Tour with Dan Fleshman. As you guys might know or might not know, Dan Fleshman is one of the super vendors on the e-learning Shapley University side. In fact, even as a business owner, a vendor, you should be watching those. For those of you guys that do have an Influencer Pro license as well, which means you made the decision to build your own affiliate channel, please watch those free videos in Shapley University. Dan Fleshman is an expert at building a brand, especially through social media. Watch those free courses. It's more value for you, as one of our vendors. Again, and that's for those of you guys who have bought an Influencer Pro license, and because you have the goal to also build your own affiliate channel. To start, I want to say thank you to every single one of you guys for being a vendor of Shapley. Thank you for making that decision early on. You guys are part of the beta test 2.0, which means you guys have just recently put your store up, but it has yet to be published. So you guys have got some things you're going to learn today from Rod and the team. And then at the halfway mark, we're going to cut over and we're going to bring on the rest of the vendors who are already published, share some things with them, go through some Q&A, etc. You're welcome to stay on the call for the second half. Just want to tell everybody that now. With regards to, and by the way, thank you for watching the recording. We know many of the vendors, difficult to pin them down, different time zones, different parts of the world. So thank you if you are watching the recording. I'm gonna talk from the perspective of maybe the sales and marketing side, and then Rod and his team will talk more from the operational side. I just left the room, and I'll start with talking about Gary Vaynerchuk. So Gary V just did a 45-minute talk, and let me share with you his I'll give you the notes, cliff notes. Here we go. Number one, if you're not posting every day on 7 different platforms, and this is Gary's language, not mine, what the F are you doing? Why are you not posting every single day on 7 different platforms, not just as your business, but as yourself? He said paid ad. He's not talking about paid advertising. He's not talking about Facebook ads. He's not talking about YouTube ads. He's not talking about Google pay-per-click. He's talking about organic posting, 7 different platforms every single day. If not, what are you doing? Second thing he said, I'm actually going to leave it to last, but the order was this one, number 2. I'm going to put it to last, though. Third thing he said is, you better put in 50 to 100 hours of education on AI, and you better do it fast. Stop making excuses for not doing it. Just do it. But here's the other one he shared. He said the current most viral topic, the current most popular topic, the current most engaging topic, the current most important topic in the world of media is social commerce and live commerce. And if you're not participating, you are losing. He didn't say missing out. He's like, you are losing. You are losing revenue, you're losing business, and you're losing eyeballs to those who are participating in social commerce and live commerce. And I share that with you because every day, me and the team are out there recruiting and adding and growing an affiliate base, ready to find great vendors and great offers that they can align with, feel good about, that they can go build content with on social commerce and live commerce and push their brands out. And I hope that's a reaffirming decision that you've made to be a part of the Shapley community. So from a marketing and branding perspective, I'm going to talk first about just your store. I think every single one of you, unless you're a solopreneur, are probably have somebody in the marketing team, and we need that somebody a part of what we're doing here that's responsible for your store. We'll call it your marketing director, whoever it might be. that individual, we need them tied in with you to our vendor Telegram group. Once you publish, which you haven't published yet, you'll be given an email and a text message to join the vendor Telegram group. And this is where all news, updates, information, etc., gets pushed. In fact, one of the things that we I'm gonna come back to that in a second. That marketing coordinator should be in charge of all things related to your store. Now, by the way, you might be the marketing coordinator, apologize for that, for your particular store, and that's probably a very real thing. But if you are the marketing coordinator or not, excuse me, if you're not, you got to treat it like your website. If you go to your website today, are you proud to share it with customers? Are you proud to share it with your most professional business friend? Your current website, not your Shoply store, your current website. If the answer is yes, congratulations. Now I'm going to ask you, would you be proud to share with them your Shoply store? Is your image grainy? Is your banner ad all jacked up? Is there enough products on there? Is there, I don't know. It's just, there's some people that put their heart into building out a store, because here's what you're asking. You're asking people that don't know you to come to your store and then to go share it to all of their friends, family, and connections on social media. They're not going to do it. If you half-ass your store, nobody in our community is going to feel proud pushing that store to their network. So you got to build something that you're proud of, because that way you know that our people will be proud of it and they're going to push it out. I'm going to tell you guys, as soon as you build a beautiful store, you want to get active in the community. You know, you want to, if there's events, be a part of them. If there's Zooms, be a part of them. And you might say, well, no, Nick, I just signed up to throw my store up there and I should get rich. I know everyone here as an entrepreneur knows nothing works like that. It's about alignment. It's about collaborations. It starts with the person, the influencer pro who brought you onto the platform. And then it moves into finding your most talented community builders who have the influence over 10, 50, 100, 1,000 other affiliates. I would suggest you find your diamond influencer and you start to build a great relationship and a deep relationship, because they want to show you results. They want to show you success, but you got to find your way to the people that can get you the eyeballs. You know, what's the difference between us and Amazon? Well, Amazon is a place for everyone to get lost. That's just a new vendor up there. If you don't want to get lost in Shoply, it's about the collaborations with real humans that you have access to, that you can be, you know, building relationship with and asking for, you know, figuring out what you should be commissioning them, figuring out what should the promos be, figuring out what's going to drive them to sell you, right? And that's the cool thing about this. That's what we call this decentralized commerce. Like, we're bringing people together, uniting people to make sales, make revenue, make profit, make commissions. And those conversations, you know, they got to happen, and they got to happen between y'all. Other little things I'll share is I'm gonna share with you guys part of the value proposition that's excuse me, that hasn't really been talked about yet. And it's because, you know, we're dialing in our message, you know, we're dialing in our best practices for how to present, I think is the best way to say it, how to present, how to share. So we actually haven't finalized our vendor presentation yet. And we're perfectly okay with that, because we don't want to overwhelm the system, and we don't want to put 1,000 vendors in tomorrow. We want to make sure we pace this correctly. But here's systems that we're running currently today that when you publish, you're going to be able to leverage. Did you guys know that we have a Telegram group of 3,500 affiliates? When we bring on a new vendor, you shoot a welcome video of, hey guys, here's who we are, here's what we do, here, we're excited to work with you, Shoply, blah, blah, blah. We drop that to all 3,500 affiliates to make the announcement that they can go find you. Did you know that every time you launch a new product, or anytime you've got a really good marketing piece, that you can give it to us in the vendor Telegram thread, and we'll launch it through the 3,500 affiliates that are in that Telegram thread? Did you know that we pick certain videos that you give us inside of our vendor Telegram thread? So it's so critical that you're in there when we go live, and we push it out on our social media. We've got 10,000 people on our Shoply partners page 10,000 people on our Shoply US page. We've got thousands on our YouTube page, and we're pushing you out into all of these worlds. Eyeballs, impressions, eyeballs, impressions, eyeballs, impressions. I was talking to one of our leaders last week before this call, and his name is Tony Lucero. He said, Tony, Victory Nutrition, how many affiliates you got selling Victory Nutrition? He said, I've got about 50 that make 1 to 3 posts every week about Victory Nutrition. I said, so 50 times 2 posts is 100 posts times 4 for 4 weeks in a month. That's 400 posts about Victory Nutrition through just Tony's network. We don't know about the rest of the company. It doesn't matter how much revenue converts. It's all free advertising. It's all free impressions. It's all people looking up the brand, clicking through the store, looking at your products. This is why your store matters. This is why you got to have videos on your store. This is why you got to have great content on your store, because we're driving eyeballs like crazy. Conversion's going to happen. Conversion will happen with time. But man, we realize that we are a free advertising mechanism that companies would die for, and we're just a baby and we're in beta. Okay. I'm wrapped up right here, Rod. Those are the pieces that I want to share. I'm going to kick it to you. Thank you so much for all of your leadership. Guys, Rod and his team, they are the tip of the spear for all things vendor related. They built the systems. They've made it what it is. They've made the efficiencies that we've had over the last few weeks, and it gets better each week that we go on. So, Rod, I'm going to kick it back to you. Thank you for everything. You're muted, partner.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh.
Thank you, brother, and enjoy the rest of your evening there, and appreciate everything that you do for us. You know, we have a really good 1, 2, 3 punch here at Shoply. Being able to work directly with Nick and Ron is really fantastic. We have other members of the team. You've heard names. We've mentioned them before, and many of you have even met Jorge and Ellie. Ellie will be on with us today. Other members of the team, Zorica, and also Chris Cooper and Rachel McVinish around the world, and a huge number of other support members in IT and support itself. So we're, as Nick said, we're at the fledgling, the beginning stages, the start, beta phase, if you will, of Shoply. And it's an exciting time, and it will require a lot of collaboration together. And I would echo a response to Nick's points about collaboration, and also being able to take advantage of the eyeballs that we have, which is only growing. It's only growing and starting to grow rapidly now too. And this is before really even starting to push out to other contacts, other promotions, other things like that, with the friends and family and others that have expressed interest. Soon it'll be affiliates on a high level. So at this stage in beta, you have access to, and you would pay hundreds of dollars a month just to have access to and be able to promote into those groups. And so we want you to do that. We want you to promote into them, as Nick described, by using the Telegram channel. Let us post from there on the appropriate social media and other places on your behalf. And we love it. Now is the time to do that. Now is the time really to experiment with your offering, with the way it works, with the way people receive it, what their viewpoints are, anything you hear from them in the messages they might send you on your dashboard from the store itself. Now is the time to do that. Secondary thing I would say to you, I'd counsel you really strongly to jump onto the other corporate calls that we have, so that you can then hear the voices, the names, make an acquaintance in your mind at least with who are some of the key leaders out there. It is totally within your rights to go ahead and communicate and reach out directly to them. And you can do that in various manners, but one of the ways you can do that is by giving us a message that we can post to our field, to all of our members, about something you might want to offer, or something important that you might want to do with key leaders, or a request for collaboration. Whatever it is that you want, we want to help you get it and help the leaders enjoy working directly with you. So very excited about that. One other thing I want to point out to you, and I'll say this a couple of times during the presentation today, because it's very important to you. We have just opened up an email address for all vendors, whether they are currently published, whether they are in the process of being published, or they have another issue, any issue. We want to make it so that you can go directly to vendor support at shoply.com, vendor support, VENDOR support at shoply.com. That email is up and will be now being viewed daily starting tomorrow with anything that goes on there. And we will attach it to the entire support team, not just to the Shopley team. So we have overflow and they can go ahead and answer questions, perhaps dealing with orders or things like that. Those can be answered by anybody on the support team. But if you have questions specifically regarding your store or how you set it up, or you're confused about something, those can be answered by another member of the support team specifically tasked with supporting vendors in their questions about being very, very successful. So vendor support at Shopley.com is now open. Now you'll remember that last week we went through some of the videos that we like to bring out and show to people from the members of the team. These will now, if they're not already, I know some of them are, all of the looms that we show on this strategy session will also be placed into your dashboard, your docs portion of your dashboard. As a quick reminder, in order to get to your dashboard, or a member of your team that you have assigned management of your store or marketing within your store, in order to get to the dashboard, they simply go to Shopley.com, and up in the right corner, there's a login button. You would use your credentials that you use to create your store, your membership in the system, and then they would click on dashboard from there and be able to go in and see your system and be able to work within there. So just a quick reminder on how to get there. So let me frame out the way we're going to go for the next probably 10 minutes or so. And then we will invite everyone that has come on in a token or recently joined as a vendor, hoping to get published very soon. We will invite them on in the final 20, 30 minutes of the session today. We'll do that at hour. So I think it's really important to share with you, even if it's redundant, if we've shared it before, these are all very critical processes for each vendor to remember and know how to do. So I'm going to spin up two of the looms that we've had in recent weeks, and I'm going to start with Jorge Alvarado, and he is going to talk through the vendor dashboard and a couple of very key points that every vendor needs to be very, very capable in doing, so that they can manage, their storefront, their shipping, their countries, things like that. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen here and work through that with you. So here we go. And you should see it more or less full size. So we'll do that now and go into presentation mode and play this. Here we go. Boom.
Hi, everyone. This is Jorge Alvarado. I just want to cover a couple of things when you're setting up your product. Let's talk about country availability and shipping. So let's say that I want to take this super product example and make sure that that is available for sale in the US and Canada only. Okay, what I'm going to do is to go after I set up all the product, the price, etc. At the inventory section, I can add the countries where this product will be available for sale, because these are the countries where I can ship from to. So I will add United States, and I will also add Canada. So the way to do it is to go to the inventory section, vendor warehouse, and I'm choosing sale to specific countries. By default, your product is going to be sold to all countries. Once I'm done with it. Remember, always remember, save it. Before you even change to a different section, save it. Okay, I'm going to save it as a draft. And now once it's saved, I can continue with the next step. Okay, I just saved it. I'm going to come back to inventory. I can see the countries there. Now the next step, let's talk about shipping. Your shipping section has 10 options or 9 options for shipping classes. What is a shipping class? It's a way for you to distinguish amongst your different products that you offer, maybe for creating a slightly different rule for shipping. And I will, for example, tag this as shipping class 1. I can have as many products in my catalog tagged as shipping class 1. And that means that when I do the settings for all products who are shipping class 1, they would follow the same rule. For example, maybe all my shipping class 1 products will have a flat rate of $9. No matter how many products they add, is just going to charge those $9. Okay, I can do that for shipping class 1. But maybe I have other kind of products that I can tag as shipping class 2, for example, or 3 or 4, whatever I want. And maybe that is going to follow a different rule. Once I have assigned the shipping class, I save it. Again, always save it. Always save your work, before you move on to the next section. And finally, when you go to settings and the shipping section right here, you will be able to enable the different regions or countries where your product is going to be shipped. In this case, in this example, I'm using US and Canada, right? So I would start by clicking on the country, US, and then by clicking there, I'm going to be able to choose if I'm going to assign a flat rate, or maybe in the US, I have another shipping method which is a free shipping, for example. I can add it as well. But let's keep it simple. At the moment, it's just going to be flat rate. Then once you have it enabled, let's go to the configure section. And here is where I'm going to take advantage of these shipping classes that we mentioned before. So for example, I want to charge $9. That's going to be the base cost. But then if somebody adds another bottle of the same shipping class 1 products, it's not going to add anything else. It's just going to be the $9. However, if somebody is buying shipping class 2 products, what this is going to do is to charge $12 for the first bottle, and then $3 for the second bottle, an extra $3, an extra $3 for the third bottle, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, we are just indicating here that we want to add $3 depending on the quantity of products. So as you can see, the reason I said the first bottle is going to be $12 is because we're taking the 9 plus 3 for the first product. Imagine there is a quantity of 1. If there was a quantity of 2 of this shipping class 2 products, then we would see a charge of $15 total for the 2 bottles. It's 12 for the first one, and then 3 for the next one. Then the last thing is that we can choose if we want to do the calculation per shipping class or per order completely, save shipping method, and that's it. You have set up your shipping option for the USA. And now I choose Canada in my example, in this example, and I can assign completely different rules for this market. Again, flat rate, configure, and I can now, maybe to Canada, it's not $9, it's going to cost me $20. I'm just making up a number here. I can enter whatever number here, and again, I can add any other.
All right, so these sometimes these looms cut off the last minute. That was just about finished. Jorge would have said, thank you, that's how you do your shipping. So I want to make sure that you know that this is up in your back office, as is a full tutorial on shipping. It's very critical to get very familiar with it and understand what your options are. And you will also learn from the orders that come through, right? So when the orders come through, you'll have an experience. I know there's somebody on the call today. Won't bring out names, just he's on the call, and I've had a couple of texts from him about specific pieces and how that works. I urge you to go back and look at this video really carefully about how that works for different classes and how it would work for multiple purchases of a similar or same product that you don't want to add just the full shipping rate to. You want to add an additional $2 or $3 to. So take a chance, go through and look through this this loom specifically, or on the back office, on your docs portion of your back office. Make sure you look at that. Now, one of the members of our team who happens to work out of Indonesia is here with us, and he and also Rachel McVinish. So Chris Cooper and Rachel McVinish are working on all tutorials and are continually working with Jorge Alvarado to get new tutorials placed on the back office for you for the top, let's say 7 to 10 issues that are commonly needed to be reviewed for vendors, and they need to be very good at them. So those different tutorials are there or will be uploaded here in the next week or so, and will continue to be edited, and more will be added, and including probably some supersized tutorials that are basically all in one. And the next thing I will tell you before we bring on one of our guests to join us today from the support team, and we'll invite all of the others that are on joining us from other vendors to come on. So in a minute, we'll have Ellie Davis join us. But while we're going through that, make sure that you are looking at the tutorials as often as you can, because sometimes the system will change. And the best way for us to notify you on that is in the tutorials, right? So some slight differences that will happen, whether it's bundling, that's something that we're always working on and refining, different kits, things like that. And so so pay attention to the tutorials and perhaps other messages we might leave for you relative to changes in the system that you're using on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to pause right here, ask Ellie to join me from backstage, and then we're going to go through a little bit of a Q&A. While we're talking and while we're waiting for Ellie to join us, hey there, Ellie. And before we go, let's just give a second for the other members that we're working to join us that are already published. Published vendors may be joining us here in just a minute, so we want to make sure that they have a chance to do that and join on. So while they're doing that, Ellie, let's go through a couple of questions that I think will also apply to new vendors that are also in the process, right? They're not published yet. These are commonly referred to questions or asked questions that you deal with all the time. Perhaps Zurika gets as well. Even Stacy will get some of these, and each of you as vendors need to know kind of what those are. So we're going to run through that. So Ellie, prep yourself. Here we go. I'm going to get to the first question here. That I have listed out here when we scripted it, and we'll just hit them as they go. So tell me the path and the plan. Maybe you have a screenshot. I don't know if you do, or maybe you can grab one. What does it look like when a vendor gets sent an invite to the contract? Do we have an image perhaps on that? Or at least I know you can describe it, but if you've got an image, you have the ability to share screen. I'd like them to see exactly what it looks like when their contract comes to them.
Yeah, for sure. I can pull something up really quickly here. I might have something I can pull up, but just to quickly answer your question. So when a vendor is being sent an agreement to sign, you're going to be getting 2 emails. One is going to be from the vendor support email, so vendorsupport@shopley.com, and that's going to be us letting you know, hey, you're going to get another email from us here in a minute. And that email is going to look like, which I'm looking for a screenshot of it now. That email is going to look like it'll say from Shopley Connect. And then it will have a unique password for you and a unique login link for you. So you just click it, enter in your email, enter in the password that was given to you in that email. You can log in, review the agreement, and fill it out and complete it and submit it all right there on that web page.
So Ellie, if they had a question about it, there's a couple of places where they can send that question that we will see it. Of course, support@shopley.com, we'll still see it, right? And we'll still assign it, and it will go through to Ellie's team. If it doesn't get immediately answered, we have all of the macros and information in place for them to do that. So if you went to support@shopley.com, it would be answered. If you went to vendor app@shopley.zendesk.com or vendor, is that an outbound email, Ellie? Vendor app@shopley.zendesk.com. They might get contact from us from that email, vendor app. Okay.
I would say from here, maybe just do vendor support@shopley.com. Just all of that is going to go to the same place that the other one would.
It's connected on Zendesk, right? And so you'll be able to look at it from there and use the macros. Okay. So from here on out, folks, all of you, whether you're already published or getting ready to be published, any questions you have, so vendor support@shopley.com, and that's tied to our Zendesk, and all agents will be able to look at it. All right, next question for you, Ellie. Unless you've got that screenshot, if you do, that's great. If not, pop it up when you get it. We'll just refer to it when you get it. So here's the next question.
All right. Real quick.
All right, here you go. You got it.
Here's what that would look like. So it may show up in your spam or junk, but it's not likely because it does say Shopley Connect on it. So this is what that email is going to look like. You just go ahead and hit that login button. That's my admin login, so that's not what you're going to see, but that will take you to a login page where you just enter in your email address and this password, and then you will be shown your agreement.
Super simple. So they get the email. First, they get an email from support@shopley.com that says, or from vendor support@shopley.com that says, hey, we're going to send you an email with an invite to your dashboard. Okay. And that's what the invite looks like. They click on it, they copy the password out and use it in the appropriate spot on the login page. And then they're in. When they get there, Ellie, what will they see? What will they see once they've logged in? You don't have to show me a picture, but describe it. This is where they would see the contract, and what else, if anything else?
Yeah, exactly. So we're still refining that part of the process, but just to be super clear, you will see your agreement there, and you will be asked to confirm all of your information. So whether you're a DBA, we need you to confirm what your DBA is and what your actual company name is, so that we can lay it out correctly on the agreement. The legal department really wants to make sure that they have the correct names down pat. So that's going to be something that you'll need to confirm. And then you're going to need to confirm if you want any additional Shoply services. And it will also take you through an explanation on all of the categories and how that directly refers to like your payout. And yeah, it's a pretty long form, agreement. There is some scrolling that needs to be done there. So I would say definitely look over that page, do your due diligence, and make sure that it makes the most sense for you and your company coming onto Shoply. But yeah, we're still there. That page will continue to be optimized as we continue to scale and grow. So I don't have a for sure screenshot of what that looks like just yet, but I can tell you for sure that it works 100%.
Yeah.
Vendors can do that, and you will see once we get that, just need that green flag from the developers on that end. Once we get that, I will be making a tutorial and we'll throw it up in the docs section.
Obvious. Love it. And so here's the reality. You make sure, so the minute we know that you have submitted any documents in the KYC process, we know then at that very minute to send you an invite to your dashboard and your agreement, so that that's in your front pocket, ready to be reviewed and signed. And I urge you to do that early, so that the minute you have your first couple of products up and everything's ready to go, KYC, the initial base KYC is done, then we're able to push you live ASAP, make announcements to the field, put you into the vendor Telegram channel, where you can then add content, share some information, which we can then post to the different social media stuff. So that really is the key. Once we see you in there and we see that you're in action, in motion, uploading your products, uploading your pricing, doing all of that stuff, make sure you take a second to do that agreement, so that we can publish you live the very second it's at all possible and make a big deal of it. So how do we do that? We make a big deal of it as vendors come on by introducing them on the vendor snapshot, which happens every Thursday night. And you can see that on the schedule on Telegram. All right, so the next question, generally speaking, super fast, Ellie, someone sees their contract and it's there, they sign it. How long can it take from that point to get their store published?
Yeah, that timeline does vary, and I know that there may be some vendors here that certainly had to wait more than a few business days. And to those vendors, I say thank you very much for your patience. I can say that on behalf of all of the support team, we really, really appreciate your patience with us as we, continue to optimize this. But so the timeline does vary because we treat every vendor like pretty individually based on the type of license that they purchase and also the products that they have. But generally speaking, most stores will go live within a few business days after the KYC verification is complete and the agreement portion is complete, right? So you need, in order to get your agreement, I like to talk with my hands like Rod. In order to get your agreement first, right, you need to get your KYC verified. So you have to get your KYC first, agreement, and then your store can go live.
And the basic KYC we're talking about, folks, it's not the way it was in our old school days, which are as short as 3-4 months ago, where we had to do full and complete KYC. What we have to do is we have to verify the organization of the entity and the shareholder position, but we really only have to do KYC after that on the majority shareholder / manager of that entity. Once we have that locked in, the rest of the KYC waits as performance happens in your store, right? So that's really important. So how fast can we get published? It is believable, Ellie. This is not one of the questions we talked about, but I'm going to throw it out to you. Okay, I know you can adapt and move with me, but the reality is, if a vendor has their products in a folder, right, that has their descriptions, the price points, the images ready to go, and they have their KYC documents ready to go, it is believable that a vendor could go live in as short as 2-3 business days if we're made aware and we see it happening in flow. If everything is ready and really there. If there's a problem with KYC, that's what stops it. That's what slows it down. It's not the publishing, it's not the uploading of the product. It literally is making sure that your documents are basically perfected in the KYC side. And that gets a little bit more difficult when you talk about international vendors. So we need to know immediately if there's an issue with anything going on so that we can help find the right document from your country. Now, keep in mind, how do we do that? How do we learn that? There's not a big master database out there of all types of documents from different entities in different countries, different types of corporate structures or whatever. So sometimes there's a little bit of a learning curve. So if you said, oh yeah, I'm from Madagascar. We want to sell our product that we have here in Madagascar. I'm going to be like, I might have to find the right document to use for Madagascar, right? But right now we have vendors in roughly 40 markets. And so we're pretty adept at those general 40 markets, but there may be a question. Next question for you, Ellie, and we'll speed up from here. What should vendors do while they wait for their store to go live?
Yeah, so I think you kind of already touched on this, but my suggestion would be is if you do have products already ready to go, meaning you have a shipping class set up, you have description set up, all of your products are pending, waiting for approval, then I would say kind of just need to sit tight, right? Just wait. I know that can be, an hour can feel like a week in some of those situations. It's really exciting to get your store up and going so that you can start promoting it. But yeah, I would say if you already have products that are set up and complete, just hang tight for a few days while we upload. But if you haven't uploaded your products, I would say definitely do that. Start uploading your products, your images, and making sure your categories are correct. And also, another thing you could do is just familiarize yourself with the user manual in the docs section or any of the tutorials if you're unsure about how to set it up.
I'm going to hit it again, keep hitting it over and over, vendor support at Shoply.com. If you have any questions on your shipping, and I do ask that you try to go through the tutorials and whatever is on the dashboard for explanations. But if you've tried it, just can't figure it out, whatever, please send an email into vendor support at Shoply.com. There's really 2 or 3 things we check every time before we publish the vendor. Once you're up and you have products on the storefront, we want to look to make sure there's no outstanding compliance issues or external links that take our customers outside to someplace outside of the loop of Shoply. So those are the 2 main things we look at on the product and the presentation side, but we also look operationally at your shipping just to make sure that you've got shipping set up and that the countries that you have declared that you want to sell your product to roughly match your shipping zones. Okay, but in the end, as vendors, it's your responsibility to manage that. And the time will quickly pass as we get from 2.0 into 3.0, where we will no longer have time to spend one-on-one with you as a vendor to help you. We'll always try to do as much as we can, and maybe we'll end up doing group seminar sessions when people have similar questions, but things are starting to scale. So now's the time, if you have any questions, the ability for us to do one-on-one responses or even short-term training stuff, that's going to go away pretty quick. So urge you to participate, and we're grateful with you to be with us in the beta side. Last question for you, Ellie. How do they know when their store is live?
Yeah, so again, we will let you know from that support email. So the support person that actually is the person that turns your store on Shoply will be the same person that sends you that email. They'll say, hey, pretty straightforward. Wanted to let you know that your store is live. And then also, you can always check back on the vendor page, right? I know that a number of vendors like to just keep refreshing that shop page once they know, that it's getting close to the time that they're going to go live. You can always check back on the vendor page, and you can always search for your products. And if they're searchable, then your store is up. So.
All right, outstanding. And for the record, we tend to publish products before the actual vendor storefront while we're going through the process. Yeah. Once we do have your storefront published, and assuming that there's no issues with compliance or anything else, you're going to have full publish rights to keep adding more product, more content, more training videos, which are absolutely required. I'm going to go now through a quick discussion with you about the training videos. It's very, very important. We'll make sure that there is a tutorial for how to upload training videos. I don't know for certain, Ellie, maybe you do, if such a tutorial already exists. I think it was done by Stacy and it exists on the dashboard in terms of how to add training type videos for your products.
Yep.
I cannot stress how important this is. It doesn't matter what type of product you have. If it is an e-learning product, if it is a digital product, i.e. some sort of a coaching session or a personal workout regimen that is put together, does not matter what the product is. We want to make sure that as those products go live, once we see it happen, then we pass over to you the ability for you to add more content, more product to it. The training is critical. I'm going to tell you a story. We've got a group in China now. That group is all leaders. They're very, very, very sophisticated, very quality type leadership, and they are very interested in the training modules. And this is going to become much more viable and important. The further out your reach goes, the more those training modules will be important. This is your opportunity to teach currently, let's say, 5,000 key influencers that are working to grab affiliates and more influencers, and that number will begin to scale rapidly now. It's your chance to teach in a very efficient mechanism and manner how to promote and talk about your product. What are the key ingredients? This is why it's great. These are the things that you need to know. This is the usage manner. These are the things you can expect when you consume this supplement. And those types of things must be compliant, but you need to have a training video for them to know the top 2 or 3 or 4 salient points to speak about your product as they're promoting there. It's also a way for you to generate interest. I can't express how important this is. If your training video is amazing and great, and your product is amazing and great, now you have piqued the interest of influencers worldwide. There are many, many influencers who may not have a vendor on board, right? And may be interested in seeing what your product might be to do that. So there's an opportunity there for you to share those on the vendor content page. Once we review it, we can push it to everybody, but on your storefront, set it up, make sure you click that it is a training setup, and it's easy. The dashboard does have the content message for you there to be able to upload that. Make sure you align it right, and then we'll push it out. We'll tell people that it's there, make sure we make a noise about it, and help you in your promotions. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap here today. We usually like to make this 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to open it up for Q&A. All right, so anybody that's here can ask Rod and or Ellie an impromptu question, and between the two of us, we can totally answer it. So I want to make sure we open that Q&A. I think I'm going to make sure that everyone can be here. Give me 1 second, and I will do that. I'm going to open up the chat is what I'm going to do, if I can do that quickly. And everyone, if the webinar should be open there, the chat should be open. So we'll hold on there if there's any questions. I'm going to open it up for questions to be asked and answered. Give me 1 second to do that, and we'll do that for there, and everyone can join us on any Q&A they have. So 1 second. If you want, go ahead and raise your hand. If you've got a question, I'll bring you on as a panelist. We'll do it that way. So raise your hand if you've got a question you want to ask that the group can hear. Otherwise, you already know Shopley vendor support at shopley.com. You can send the email in. So raise your hand if you want, and I'll see it in the chat. Also, would see it in the Q&A, and we'll be able to answer any questions you got. So we'll give you a couple of minutes. If you've got one, jump on. Otherwise, we'll call it a good webinar, and we'll do it again next week on Wednesday, same time, same place. So notice we've got some folks here from Switzerland, also here in the United States and other markets outside represented, because I know the names of the vendors that I see. So here's a chance. If you got any questions, Q&A right now, going once, going twice. I don't see hands raised. Shopley Zoom, let me just see one other view of them real quick. Okay. All right, Leanne, I'm gonna press you there. Make it so that you can talk. Give us your question, Leanne. Thank you for joining us. You're muted if you're talking.
Hi.
There you go. Hi, Leanne.
Hello from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Although it's almost 70 degrees today, it's amazing. So
Wow.
moving on, I heard you say earlier,
Sure.
now what was it? It was, links going outside. And I'm going to be promoting training videos type things. Well, what do you mean by links going outside? If I have my training hosted on another platform, is that a link going outside, or how does that work?
No, so those training type products, we urge you to host them on Wistia if you can. Wherever you host them, make sure you use an embedded link when you
Okay.
build that on your storefront. Those types of links are totally acceptable. Where we have problems are where people send them on links back to their own web page or their own place, maybe their own e-commerce site. Of course, if we've done the work to drive an affiliate or a customer to you, as a vendor, we want to make sure they stay in our loop, because the people who drove that customer would be influencers and affiliates within the system. They deserve the right to have that sale happen. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, ask more and we'll answer more.
Okay, yeah, so basically it has to be a dedicated site for these sales through Shoply, which is fine.
That's correct. Right. We
Okay,
don't require to use Shoply as your only location. We fully
Right.
understand you might be selling on 25 different platforms, but when
Oh.
our influencers and affiliates bring somebody to you, and even during this beta fledgling state, want to make sure they get credit for their work.
Great. Well, I keep it up. I'm so proud of you. I tell everybody about this because I am one of the orphans from that other company and literally drove my company out of business. I just can't. So go Shoply. Let's do it.
Leanne, we're really happy that you're here with us and looking forward to seeing your product on the store and taking advantage of it. And folks, I think you can expect that there will be hundreds and hundreds of vendors coming on from other markets as well. And there's really an opportunity for vendors to do collaboration with other vendors. So it's worth your time to become very, 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 very well versed on what other vendors are doing, what other vendors' products might be, and open your mindset in to see, okay, is there a way that I might be able to collaborate with them? All right, so I think I saw one other hand up. I know maybe that's just my hand, so I'm going to lower my hand. All right, so Girl Awakening. All right, I'm going to go find you here in a second, and I'm going to open it up so that you can talk. Girl Awakening, thank you for joining us. Unmute yourself and give us your question so all can hear it.
Morning, Rod. Morning, Ellie. Hi, everybody. Well, morning here in Australia, anyway.
Good morning.
Actually, it's Mayella Organics, but Girl Awakening's another
Awesome.
podcast I do. So anyway, the question is amazing. It's been very exciting just since before Christmas to this point, all the things that are happening, and the support is amazing. I just really want to thank you for all of that and
Thank you.
appreciate the personal care that you're taking. It's amazing. But just it's a really basic question, just with the back end with orders, when we input the tracking and confirm shipping, do the customers now receive a email confirming the tracking?
They will. So every customer has their own dashboard, and
Yep.
in their dashboard, they will see the status of any product that they have. The auto response mechanisms are currently in flow right now, and that is one of the auto responses that will be created for that exact scenario. I would expect we've got a great professional now lined up with us for managing that. I would expect those auto responses to be live one by one, and we've prioritized them based on enrollments of influencers and affiliates, and also then based on product orders. So certainly a product order would generate here's the order. B, when it's shipped, that will also be something that they get. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. And Mayella is a wonderful vendor out of Australia. Folks, I urge you to check out Mayella. They've done a great job with their store, and one of the great early vendors. All of you that are with us, that have joined with us, we thank you. Anyone who joined us last year, this year, with tokens coming on, no matter when you joined us, you're still part of the beta crew. We value you. We're very excited to work with you, and we thank you for joining us. There's some exciting times coming, much more offering to vendors as well. We're working towards data analysis, so you can start to see when you do put a product up there at a certain price point, what kind of customers are looking at it, what kind of customers are buying it, demographic type understanding for you, which I think will be useful for you in any place, any location where you're promoting, but definitely, of course, understanding how the current and ever ongoing growth and changing of the different affiliate members that we have or influencer members that we have, where the presence is growing. Very shortly, last thing I'll mention, and Ellie, be prepped if you have any parting words for us, okay? The last thing I'll mention is there are certain markets, China specifically, others coming up that have very unique requirements, and we will be sending out to any vendor that wants to see that, the process for them perhaps to be able to put their products in a small amount, because it is you'll have to manage it a little bit differently, but store it at our Hong Kong location from our partner company, LaCour Logistics, okay? And store maybe a half a pallet or a pallet of products there for being released into the market. We will send you some step-by-step instructions on how to move forward. Eventually, you would have a contract from LaCour Logistics for how you would do that, what the pick and pack, what the storage fees, all of those things would be there. So if you have an interest, I'm going to suggest to each of you on this call to send an email in to vendorsupport@shoply.com, and in the heading, say, I'm interested in China, all right? And then we'll work from there. We'll reply back to you with some information, let you go there, and then we'll continue to add China and other markets as they grow. If they have unique requirements and ways for you to do business there, then that will work. Of course, if you are an e-learning product or a digital product, your product will be available in China and every other market on the world from word go. So just understand that. Now it would be an important time for you to think about the other markets. Some of those videos are e-learning. You've got to get them into different languages and make them available to them there. We're working on some tool sets for you to do that as well that should be embedded into the system if we can make that work right. So Ellie, thank you for joining us. Ellie will be a fixed member of our weekly Wednesday calls and sometimes our Thursday calls. So Ellie, last parting words for everybody, if any. Otherwise, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. Just thank you again. And yeah, I'll probably see you all next week.
All right. We're going to close it out here. Thanks for joining us, folks. Vendorsupport@shoply.com for any questions. Join us weekly. We'll have new updates as we go and new videos. Thanks very much, all, and we're signing off now. Thanks for joining us.